Hey guys, welcome to this video on the C programming language. So in this video, we want to write a program that will take in a number and returns two numbers that when those two numbers are squared equal that first number that we input. So I'm going to go ahead and write this out here as a description, and maybe I'll put up here. So I'm going to say this program takes in a number, we'll call it maybe n for now, and returns two numbers. We'll call them A and B, that when A and B are squared, or here we go, I'll do even better, such that A to the power of 2 plus B to the power of 2 is equal to n. Okay? And maybe returns something telling us that it can't be done. Here we go. If that is not the case, then maybe we'll just return -1, something like that. Okay, so again, this program will take in a number, we'll call it n, and returns two numbers, a and b, such that a squared plus b squared equals n. And if that is not the case, so that means if there is no numbers such that a squared plus b squared equals n, so we can't find an a or a b, then we're just going to return -1 or possibly a print statement, something like that. All right, so let me give you guys an example. And the input could be a number like 25. So let's say input equals 25, and then our program or our output will be 3 and 4. And the reason for this is, I'm gonna put a little note here. The reason why we return 3 and 4 is because 3 to the power of 2 plus 4 to the power of 2 is equal to 25. Right? So that's equal to 9 plus 16, which equals 25. Okay? So that's basically what we want to do is we want to input this 25, and then we want our program to return the values 3 and 4 in this one example. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. First thing I'm going to do is include our library, stdio.h, and then I'm going to create my main function and maybe return 0 here just to set it up. Now I'm going to need a few variables. What I plan on doing, maybe I should write it up here as well. Maybe we should think this out, how this algorithm works. What we're going to do is we're going to go through all of the possible combinations of a and b, or here we go, of a squared plus b squared, and check if it is equal to our input. And I'm just going to call our input n. Okay, so that's basically what we're going to do. So in order to do this, we're going to need a for loop, and actually I'm going to need two for loops. So I'm going to use I and j as variables to iterate through our loops. So we're going to start our loop from 1, and it's going to run all the way up to our input number. So we're going to need, let's see, so these are just variables to iterate through the loop. We're going to need our input. So this right here will be the input number, which we just call n here. And we're probably going to need two variables, a and b. Actually, I and j will be our a and b's. So also a and b. Because I and j, when we run this loop, is going to be the ones that increment. So we're going to go through all the possible combinations using I and j. All right, so this loop is going to run n times. I'm going to say I less than or equal to n. And then I is going to increment by 1 each time. And then within that loop, we're going to have another loop from j equals 1. J is going to run less than or equal to n. It's going to run n times. And then j is going to increment by 1 each time. And within here, we're going to do an if statement. So right here is where we're going to check to see if a squared plus b squared equals n. And I'm actually going to use brackets here because I kind of want to put some comments in here as well. So I'll put a comment right here. And here we're going to check a squared plus b squared equals n. And of course, our a will just be I. And we can't just simply do something like this, I squared. But I'm going to write it out like that for now. So I squared plus j squared equals n. All right. So we can't just write I squared and j squared here. We have to use a power function, and we can get that from our math library. So I'm going to include that library here, math.h, and this right here will give us our power function. And so instead of me doing I squared like that, the equivalent will be power I comma 2. And then the same here for the j. So we do pow j comma 2 instead of I. Okay. So we're basically going to run through this loop here, and it actually runs in big O of n squared time if you guys know anything about asymptotic notation. So this is actually big O of n squared, and I will be creating possibly another video showing how to do this in big O of n time if I don't do it on this one here. All right, so let's continue. And so here, if we go into this conditional statement, then we found A, which is I, and B, which is J. So we could just print that. So let's print the answer. So print A equals %D and B equals %D. And then maybe a new line. So again, that's our I and our J. All right, and then we want to exit out of the loop. So I'm just going to break out of this loop here. And let's see, maybe I'd have a flag as well, letting us know that we went into this if statement. So something saying it's true that we found A and B. So I'm just going to call this is squared is SQ. And right now I'm going to set it to 0, and 0 will represent false. And here when we find it, I'm going to set is SQ equal to 1, and 1 represents true. So here I'm saying it's true that we did find it. All right, and then if it never goes to this if statement here, then is SQ will still equal 0. So here I'm going to write a if statement down here. I'm going to say if is Q equals 0, that means we never found an A or a B that when squared equals n. Then I'm just going to print here I can, like I said, I could return 1, but what we're going to do instead is we're just going to print n is not a summation of 2 perfect squares. Okay, so I'm just going to copy that and paste it here. And of course, instead of n, we're going to put the actual value here. So %d, and then I'm going to put a comma and then n here. Now, of course, we still never actually said what n equals. So I'm just going to set n equal to a value like 25 for now from our example. And let's give this a run. Oh, so it looks like we found our A and our B. However, it only broke out of this loop here. What we can do instead of a break, I can just return 0, and we can exit out of our program. So let's run this again. So now it's just going to give me 1. So A equals 3 and B equals 4. Let's give another example, like 58. So 58 would give us, let's see, 49 and 9. So that's 7 and 3. So hopefully we get back 3 and 7. And you can see that we do. We get back 3 and 7 here. Let's give another example, maybe 32. So 32 should be 16 and 16. So that's 4 and 4. Oh, I need to actually put in 32 here. Okay, so we get back 4 and 4, which is pretty cool. So again, this function here runs, these loops here run big O of n squared time, and there is a better solution. So for now, I'm just going to end the video here. Thanks for watching, guys, and don't forget to leave likes. Don't forget to subscribe. As always, again, thanks for watching, and I will see you all in the next video.